Hello, welcome to Wofoy TV. Thank you for stopping by my channel to watch my videos. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button so that you'll always be alerted whenever I drop a new video. But if you've been coming here and you have never subscribed, please hit the subscribe button so that you'll be officially part of the Wofoy TV family. All you have to do is sign in whilst you're on YouTube with your Gmail account login information and click subscribe so that you will officially be part of the Wofoy TV family. Thank you so much for doing this. Today I'm going to share a personal story through my travel experience with you guys so that hopefully you will learn something from it and stay safe, all right? So I think it was in 2017, and I was going to Ghana. So I was going from George Bush International Airport to Ghana, Accra, Ghana, and I was had to go through Istanbul in Turkey. Okay. So when I got to Istanbul, that airport is big, huge. This airport in Istanbul is huge. And the things that I noticed about the place was that the airport didn't have a sign gate, like a sign gate for flights. So like what I'm trying to say is that, like, you know, other airports, when you go like it's C4, C15, you might sit there for 2 hours waiting for your flight. But what I noticed in Istanbul, the every 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 1 hour, there's a new flight coming in. So you may be sitting at the gate and there's a flight to Barcelona coming in, and then the next moment there's a flight going to Islamabad. It's like that was how, so there wasn't, so you cannot sit at one gate and sit there like till your flight comes, especially if you are waiting for a longer time. So it's like you have to keep moving around and all of that. So I had a longer layover in Istanbul. I got there somewhere in the evening, maybe 7 or 5 p.m. or something, 5 p.m. ish. And so when I assessed the situation and realized that they are not permanent gates, so I was looking for a place that is not close to a gate so that I can sit there and sleep. So I had my carry-on bag, I had my handbag, and the other thing was that my layover was like overnight. All right, was overnight. So I think it was over 8 hours. So my plan was because Turkish Airlines will book a hotel for you if your flight is overnight and if it's like a longer layover. So my plan was to, you know, do the layover, go to the hotel the next morning, and then come back to the airport and get my flight, and then, you know, go to Ghana, all right? Well, the interesting that happened was that when we got to the airport in Istanbul, and we walk to get to the place where you can do the I think hotel, to go to the hotel, but you need to get a visa at the airport before you can get outside of the airport, because if you don't have a valid visa, you cannot exit the airport. So I, you know, proceeded with other people. There were, you know, many people like myself coming from the US going through Istanbul. So when we got to the gate, they're like, US citizens, people who have US passport, you cannot get visa. I was like, why? And some of them didn't want to talk. Some of the officials at the airport didn't want to talk, and because it was interesting, because I had no idea why can't US citizens or people who hold US passport get out of the airport. The unfortunate thing for me was that I no longer have a Ghanaian passport, so I couldn't, you know, get out. And I was working with one guy from Nigeria, and he had, you know, he's a student in the United States, and so he had his Nigerian passport, so he could just get the benefit of going to the hotel that has been paid for by the airline and then come back the next day. So they were like, US citizens cannot get visa to get out of the airport. You guys can stay here. And some of them didn't even want to talk to us. It was like, what did we do? Okay. And then later another officer, because we're still there, trying to figure out like why, and then they were like, well, there's like a diplomatic issue between your president, and that was President Trump, and Turkish President Erdogan. All right, Erdogan. And so there was something that, whether our president said or did or something, there was some kind of diplomatic issue between the US government and the Turkish government. So for that reason, they were punishing US citizens, for that purpose. All right. So then now means that I'm going to spend that, I think it was 12 hours or 10 hours. I was going to spend all those hours in the airport. And imagine there are no, like I said, there are no permanent assigned gates for like flights. You cannot sit in one seat for a long time. There are flights, shuffling in and out. So I have my bag, I have my, my carry-on, my small carry-on bag, my handbag, and just, walking through the airport. So at some point I got tired, and then I went to like a seat that was like a longer seat, like a bench, and then I put my carry-on bag there, put my head on it, put my handbag on my chest and hug it, and then just slept for a little bit. The thing is that you can't sleep for too long, because it's like, for me, my mind was just wandering. Every time somebody walked by, it's like I could see the person moving. It's almost like you can see their shadow, right over your eyes. And so I couldn't sleep well. So when I woke up, my phone was dying, my phone battery was dying, and the unfortunate thing was that I brought only the USB cable, and I couldn't have the 3 prongs, those 3 prongs plug wall adapter. I didn't bring one, so it's like I couldn't use it there. And the other thing was that I didn't have internet, because the airport, you cannot get wireless internet. It looks like people who were there, employees, had access to it. I don't know. I think later I realized that if I had purchased something, they would have been able to use the internet, but it didn't click with me because of what I was going through at that moment. So I was there, and then this gentleman just walked up to me, and he said in broken English, because his English was like, he's like, hey, can you go here with me? And so the way he said it, like, I'm trying my best to imitate him, but what I picked up from what he was saying was that I should go to some room. And this guy is an airport janitor, so he's like airport restroom cleaner and stuff. He said I should go to one room with him, and we have to say, he'll give me $20. That's how he said, $20, something like that. So what I got from what he was saying was that he wanted to go and have sex with me. I should get up and go and have sex with him for him to give me $20. Man, guys, I cried. I'm like, what on me? Like, what on me showed this man or gave this man the signal that you can sleep with me for $20, or available for sleeping with, And at that time I had my wedding ring on. So I was like, what about me? My dress wasn't even like this. My dress was like, my shirt was covering my neck, the one with like tassels here that you tie, long sleeves shirt, jeans to my my ankles. So I was like, what about me made this man think that he could proposition me for sex in the airport? So I told him, like, hey, walk away, get away from me. So I just said that, and he walked away from me. And I got away from that place, moved to another point, and the airport was so like filled with people. Like there was a mosque in the airport. There were other things. The airport was like so many people sitting on the floor, places that people were sleeping on the floor. It was like a mess. All right, I've never seen so much chaos in any airport like this. All right. And so, and you can see like people from different backgrounds, different cultures coming through there. And there was a time that it looks like there was this religious group of people. They had this um, dots on their hair. It seems like their scalp have been poked with needles. I don't know if it was hair transplant. Now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, was it a hair transplant? But there were many of them. There were many of them in, that big overall shirt for Middle Eastern men with sleeve. So I thought maybe they were coming from some kind of religious ceremony. But then they had a lot of dots in their hair, like a lot of poking, like blood. You can see blood. Some will have bandage on it. So now thinking about it, it was hair transplant because Turkey is like a major destination for that hair transplant surgery. So now that makes sense. But that time I thought that was for maybe a religious thing that they did because it was men, and many of them have bandages around their head, and you can see blood stains on that. But anyway, about that. So later, I guess it was the next morning, and then this guy comes to work, and he's also like a Turkish guy. He comes to me, and then he brings me like a little paper cup of coffee. He brought me coffee. He brought me a creamer. He brought me a little bit of sugar, and then he brought me cuties. Cuties, just like those little tangerine orange, like tangerine little baby ones. We call them cuties. So he brought me one of them. He's like, oh no, he brought like 3 of them to me, and he's like, hey, take this. So he gave them to me, and I thanked him, and I told him like, I don't need food. I just need internet. I want to have access to WhatsApp so that I can, message my family and let them know what's going on, where I am, because when I was coming, everybody thought that you go to the hotel and now you're in the airport, you can't get out, and it's like I look like a homeless person in this airport. I guess from now, the moment this man, after he propositioned me for sex, I felt like maybe I look like I'm a homeless African girl in the airport, and that's why he's doing this. I just blamed myself. That at that point, I blamed myself that maybe there's something that I did, something that something that gave him the signal to think that I'm looking for sex or something. But then to think about it, I'm like, that's how girls get sex trafficked. Okay, so imagine if I were like coming from any of like some countries, the countries that most African girls go to become house helps, housemaids and stuff, and then I'm in the airport and looking all tired and depressed, and then this man want to take advantage of you. And that was the first time in my life. I had never encountered that in any airport ever. Okay, and I've traveled quite a bit. This was the first time. So because I've been to Central America, I've been to Middle East, and of course stopped in Europe, and of course in Africa. But that was the first time that I was experiencing something like that. So I told the guy that I just need to charge my phone, and I need Wi-Fi. So he was like, okay. He got me like the adapter, that 3 prongs adapter that is used internationally, because the US we use the 2 prongs. So he bought one for me, and then he plugged in and he told me, oh, there's a seat. It was just hidden. It was hidden somewhere. Sat there, and then I charged my phone. And whilst I was charging my phone, this guy just had his hand over like behind my neck. It's almost like somebody embracing you like that, sitting there, and I was it wasn't a good feeling. So he was like, yeah, I like you. I was like, no, because hey, this guy is just he's giving me his Wi-Fi password. I just need to just hang in there as long as I can, so that I can get the to be able to contact my family and let them know how I'm doing and everything that's going on. And so he did something, he had to send. So the reason why I couldn't get a Wi-Fi password was that, now I remember. So I think I bought food and they gave me the code to get on their Wi-Fi. But the thing is that when you do, it will send a text with the code to your cell phone number. All right. And because I was going on this trip, my cell phone number was no longer working outside of the US. So now when they sent a code, the code was not coming through. The code was not coming through. So the code was coming, but it wasn't coming through because I didn't have network, and no network was, transmitting this stuff. So the guy used his phone to do it. I sent him a code on his local number, and then he gave me the code to put in and then get Wi-Fi. And when I got Wi-Fi, I was so relieved. I was so excited. I was so happy. And so and this guy had a ring on his finger, and his girlfriend kept calling him and calling him. He would hang up, calling and hang up. But then I told him hey, when I got the internet and I called my family, and it looks like his lunch was over. Right, he was on his break, so his break was over, so he needed to go back. And I said, oh, thank you, I'll be here, I want to charge my phone more. And then he left, and I was like, thank you, God. So after that, I talked to my family for a little bit, talked to a few of my friends, and then now my phone battery is charged, and my flight was not far away, when it comes to time. So when I finished, I went back to sit somewhere far away from where this guy was, so that I can wait for my next flight. But when my flight came, I just ran to my gate. 30 minutes to my flight, I was running to go sit at my gate, even though it wasn't far away. I was just running to get there because I was exhausted from all of these things that I've gone through, the disappointment at the airport for not getting visa and all that. So guys, the lesson from my experience is that that you could be on your trip somewhere, and there could be a diplomatic issue that could just mess up your whole trip, and there's nothing you can do. Just like in this situation, I couldn't get a visa inside Turkey to get out of the airport. I was stuck in the airport. The other lesson that I want you to learn is that, especially females who travel alone, be very careful, because sometimes they see you walking alone, they see you, young lady, beautiful young woman, whatever your demeanor may be, whether it doesn't matter the way you're dressed, these men can come to you and proposition you for sex. And if you're not lucky, if you're that desperate, I don't know, whatever you're going through, you could become a victim to, prostitution, unintentional prostitution. You can become a victim to sex trafficking. So when you are traveling, please be careful, be aware. And for me, when I travel now, it's like my charger. I take everything with me. I take the 3-prongs charger, adapter for me, so that I can use with my phone. But this was the story that I wanted to share with you guys. When you travel, please be careful. Be careful, and warn your children if you have your children traveling alone, or unaccompanied minors, or even your adolescent, even. And I'm not even a child, but see what happened to me. So please be careful. Warn your daughters, warn your sisters, warn your mothers. When you travel, they have to be careful, so that they don't become victim to any sex trafficking ring. They don't become, a victim of any type of crime outside, when you're outside the United States. All right. So I wanted to share this story with you guys. My sisters, my African sisters, my sisters around the world, when you travel, be careful. Whether you're coming to the United States, whether you're going to your home country, wherever you're going, please be careful, be careful, be careful. These predators are out there looking for innocent looking young women to just, prey on them. Okay, so this is a story that I wanted to share with you guys. But of course, I have more stories to share about my travels. But guys, if you're interested in the Greek lottery, please join my Greek lottery groups: Greek lottery Africa, Greek lottery Ghana, Greek lottery winners. And if you're interested in other immigration process, you can join Moving to America /Wofoy TV. Thank you so much for your help, for your kindness, for your support, for subscribing. All right, subscribing doesn't cost anything. It takes nothing from you guys. So please subscribe, and thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, for following my Wofoy TV channel, for growing together. And I'm so happy to be a part of your journey to America. Thank you so much. Enjoy my other videos. Comment, like, share with your family and friends so that they'll be aware of the situations when you travel outside, and they will also know what to expect when they will come into the United States. Watch that video. Watch my video about the Greek lottery process. I love you. I thank you so much, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye-bye.